Well, I've been waiting for this for a long time. It's been a long time. But finally, we are here. Welcome to my 2023 NASCAR Cup Series playoff predictions. Well, I only need to show these guys, but we have to acknowledge the drivers that missed the playoffs, obviously. Like Chase Briscoe, Harrison Burton, terrible seasons for them. I don't have a car for Ty Gilliland, so yeah, Austin Dillon, we still have a Gen 6 car for him, as well as for the 41. Ryan Preece, hopefully he's doing okay after his big crash at Daytona. Eric Almirola, what could be his final season. Eric Jones. Justin Haley, I don't have a car for Justin Haley. Austin Cindric, who made the playoffs last year. Obviously, the big surprise, Chase Elliott. So, yeah, as well as Alex Bowman. Fortunately, they're missing the playoffs. AJ Allmendinger, I have no car for him. Daniel Suarez and Ty Gibbs. Now we have. I'm gonna move these guys out. And now it's time for my playoff predictions. Okay. So the round of 16, we have Darlington, Kansas, and Bristol. I have Ross Chastain winning at Darlington, Tyler Reddick winning at Kansas, and I'm thinking. And Chastain, Reddick, and I might have to go Denny Hamlin at Bristol. I have no idea. So the 4 drivers I have eliminated in the first round of the playoffs are the driver of the number 23, Denny Hamlin, Michael Jordan, Toyota, Bubba Wallace. Bubba really hasn't shown consistent speed. I know he's great at Kansas, but you have to be great at more than 3 tracks if you want to make it past the round of 16. So, yeah. Bubba is my first. Well, he's not the main first guy out. Main first guy out is the driver of the number 47, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Stenhouse has only had 1 top 10 since winning the Daytona 500, and to be honest, if Stenhouse didn't win the Daytona 500, he probably wouldn't even be in the playoffs right now. He could have. He might still be, but I guess we'll never know. Stenhouse is okay at Bristol, but everywhere. But Darlington and Kansas, not really. So Stenhouse is the easy one out. Also, the driver of the 34 front row forward, Michael McDowell. Michael McDowell has done so much better, especially since the debut of the next gen car. McDowell dominated and won at the Indy Road Course, but he's not good at the tracks we're going to. Obviously, Talladega, the Roval, he's great at. I might add Martinsville in there. Martinsville and Homestead in there, but they're all in later rounds. He hasn't really shown much at Darlington, Kansas, or Bristol. The only thing he showed at Bristol Dirt earlier this year was doing 2 360s. But I'm glad to see McDowell in the playoffs, but I think it's going to be short-lived. And the final driver out in the first round is the driver of the number 4, Kevin Harvick. In his 23rd and final season in NASCAR. Harvick hasn't won this year, but I think that's not gonna change. Harvick won't win a race this year, and he has 60 career wins. He got 2 wins last year, but it's Kevin Harvick just past his prime, and it will be disappointing because Harvick, because the other driver who made it on points, Brad Keselowski, has been way more consistent than Kevin Harvick over the year, so over this season. So yeah, I gotta go with Harvick out. So those are the 4 drivers I have out at round 1. Then the round of 12, we have Texas, Talladega, and the Charlotte Roval. I have Kyle Larson winning at Texas. I have, of the playoff drivers, I would say Chris Buescher at Talladega and Christopher Bell at the Charlotte Roval. So the 4 drivers I have out in the round of 12. First has got to be the 6 of Brad Keselowski. Like I said before, Keselowski missed the playoffs last year, but it was basically a learning year with his new team as an owner driver. But he's improved so well this year, but he hasn't won this year. He's been inconsistent at some tracks. Although Talladega is a great track for him, there's just too many guys that have been way more consistent. And if he doesn't win Talladega, I don't think he's going to do well at the Roval. Maybe he'll do okay at Texas, but I don't think so. So Keselowski's the odd one out. Next up, we have my next driver out, the defending champion, Joey Logano. I don't know what's going on with Penske. Austin Cindric over there wasn't even close to making the playoffs. Joey Logano only has 1 win this year at Atlanta. And this was the exact car that he used to win at Atlanta. But yeah, Logano hasn't really shown the speed that he's used to showing, especially after he won the championship last year. So again, Talladega, great track for Logano, but it's not happening. And then we have his teammate Ryan Blaney. Same thing. Ryan Blaney only has 1 win. Came in the Coke 600 at Charlotte, but after that, Blaney has been heavily inconsistent. So I gotta get him out in the round of 12. Again, he's won at the Roval before. He's won at Talladega plenty of times, but again, just not consistent. Both Blaney and Logano's best chances are probably going to come at Talladega. And the final driver I have out in the round of 12 is the other 2311 car, Tyler Reddick. So Tyler Reddick will do very well at Texas. He'll do very well at the Roval. Talladega, I don't know. But this 45 car has been great on 1.5 miles. Great on road courses. Reddick's only win of the year came on a road course, Circuit of the Americas, but again, heavily inconsistent. Tyler Reddick, he has a ton of stage wins this year, and a ton of stage points this year, but with what finishes to back it up? So, yeah, I have to have Tyler Reddick out, and with that, I have to have Tyler Reddick out in the round of 12. So that leaves me for these guys. Round of 8, we have Las Vegas, Homestead, and Martinsville. I have Kyle Busch winning at Las Vegas, Kyle Larson winning at Homestead, and Martin Truex Jr. winning at Martinsville. So the 4 drivers I have out. Easily the first guy easily the first guy is Christopher Bell. Christopher Bell got his only win of the year at Bristol Dirt, and he really hasn't shown much speed. Over the summer, his only top 5 was at Watkins Glen 2 weeks ago. And I know last year he walked into the champion. He did a walk-off and shook the champion and made the championship for winning at Martinsville, but it's going to be really hard to do that 2 years in a row. So And this time, I don't think it's going to happen. Remember, Bell got 3 wins last year. He only has 1 this year, so I don't think it's going to happen. Next driver out is got to be Chris Buescher. I love how well Chris Buescher is doing. He has 3 wins this year. He's won 3. All 3 of his wins have come in the last 5 races. He won at Richmond. He won at Michigan. He won at Daytona. But Buescher lacks experience. This is only the 2nd time he's made the playoffs in his entire career, and the only other time was when he barely made it in because he was battling for 30th in points. So this time it's a lot different, but the Buescher lacks the experience. So that's my reason for him out in the round of 8. He could easily surprise them, make the championship 4. Although I wouldn't be a surprise anymore. Next driver out in the round of 8 is Denny Hamlin. Again, Denny Hamlin has 2 wins this year, Kansas and Pocono, both times wrecking Kyle Larson for the win. So Hamlin heavily downed from last year. He hasn't shown quite the speed, and plus with all the pressure of 2311 staying with Toyota, and Hamlin staying with Joe Gibbs Racing, trying to get an extension, as well as FedEx trying to get an extension, I think that pressure might build on Denny Hamlin. So, unfortunately, that championship won't come this year. And the last driver I have out in the round of 8 is Ross Chastain. Ross Chastain, I think Trackhouse, even though Daniel Suarez isn't in the playoffs this year, I still think Trackhouse is going to turn it up in the playoffs. But Ross Chastain, since he downed his aggression level, he got to win at Nashville, but he's been very quiet over the summer. So if he can turn it up, I'll be very happy, but I don't think he's going to make the championship 4. And the main reason he made the championship 4 last year was the Hail Melon, the wall ride. So that leaves William Byron, Martin Truex Jr., Kyle Busch, and Kyle Larson as my championship 4. And starting off my 4th in points will be Kyle Busch. A great first year with Richard Childress for Kyle Busch. He's my favorite driver, as you guys know. But I was foolish to put Kyle Busch in the championship 4 in 2020. His worst statistical season. I think his worst statistical season. I don't know. So, I don't know what I was thinking. Putting Kyle Busch in the championship 4 in 2020. I was delusional. I was a delusional 12-year-old. Now I'm 15, so my perspective is way different. But yeah, Kyle Busch has 3 wins this year: Auto Club, Talladega, Gateway. Just like most of these drivers, he's quiet. He's been very quiet over the summer. He started to bounce back with a top 10 at Daytona on Saturday, but again, it's Kyle Busch. And last year last year was a first round exit, but that was probably because he ended off his tenure at Joe Gibbs Racing on a sour note. So Kyle Busch will make the championship 4 this year, in my opinion. But because of how inconsistent he was over the summer, or how his team lacked over the summer, he will be the least competitive of the 4 championship drivers. So the next driver I have is the guy with the most wins this year, William Byron. It's been a career year for William Byron. 5 wins: Las Vegas, Phoenix, Darlington, Atlanta, Watkins Glen. And I think all of those playoff points are going to help him through the first 2 rounds. And I think he'll do well enough at Las Vegas and Homestead to make his way into the championship 4. But again, Byron lacks experience. We know he made to the round of 8 think he made it to the round of 8 the last 2 years. But again, he made it to the round of 8 last year and really wasn't a factor. This year, he will definitely be a factor. But again, he lacks experience. Byron's only been in the Cup Series since 2018. I was watching NASCAR before 2018. And that was when Byron was falsely announced to the 5 car. So that was when he was only 19, winning Xfinity races. So he has made the playoffs every year since 2019. He's won at least one race every year since 2020. And this is a career year for Byron, but he lacks experience. So that leaves me, who is going to win the championship? I got to go with Martin Truex Jr. I'll tell you why in a second. Kyle Larson. Larson has 2 wins this year, Martinsville and Richmond. I know he hasn't been the same level that he was last year and the year before when he won those 10 races and the championship 2 years ago. But Larson is still pretty consistent, and he always turns it up in the playoffs, especially with Hendrick Motorsports. So if he didn't have that collapse at the Roval, he probably would have made the championship 4 last year. But unfortunately, bad pits, an issue at the Roval got him out in the round of 12. But Larson's got a lot of good tracks to look forward to. I think Homestead's easily his best track. If he makes it to the round of 8, he could definitely make the championship 4 winning at Homestead. Larson has won at Phoenix. He won there 2 years ago to win the championship. So when you put Larson in the championship 4, he's going to be competitive, okay? So now that puts Martin Truex Jr. as my 2023 NASCAR Cup Series champion. Truex has won 3 races this year, Dover, Sonoma, and New Hampshire. He's turned the clock back to 2017. He won 8 races in 2017 to win the championship. And just like 2017, he is the regular season champion for this year. With those extra bonus points, he's going to easily slip through the first round. Round of 12, I think he's going to do well at Texas and the Roval. Talladega is a wild card as usual, so we don't know. And then the round of 8, Martinsville, Martin Truex Jr. It's a match made in heaven. Truex always does well at Martinsville, especially in the fall race. So there you have it. I got Martin and Phoenix. Truex is usually run well at Phoenix. So when Gibbs actually cares. So there you go. I have Martin Truex Jr. as my 2023 NASCAR Cup Series champion. These are my updated final standings. There you have it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and I cannot wait for the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs to begin. And that's it for me. See you guys next time.